Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Mac Yak number 141. Just a quick, we don't have Steve here tonight, but we brought someone along way better looking. We have the Macintosh Librarian joining us tonight, as well as the rest of the gang. How is everyone?
Miserable.
Good.
Doing great.
That's good. So I think tonight will just be, covering largely the old Keynote thing, which, of course, I imagine a few of the people in the chat will have watched. So we'll be going over that with a fine-tooth comb. And I think some of us even watched it. Is that right? Would I be correct in saying that?
I watched some of it.
I watched it all.
I watched a bit of it.
It was a short one.
Okay.
I missed the beginning.
Did you?
I watched about 30 minutes too much.
They always put these on at about like 3 a.m. in my part of the world, so it's a matter of trying to do the old catch up. So
no respect for the Australians.
No, this is right. So what's everyone been up to? Anyone been doing anything interesting?
I did something new and unexpected.
What'd you do?
That was?
I scraped a lot more boards. So sick of it.
Yeah. Anyone who has who hasn't been watching Jay or keeping up with what he's been doing, he's been restoring a whole bunch of old Macintosh 2 and 2X computers, and that involves cleaning a lot of trace rot. So he's sick of doing it. We're sick of hearing about it, but it just has to be done. So
I should be done before Christmas.
I like that one with the trace rot that goes right underneath the all of the RAM slots there. That's
there's a wire in there now.
Oh, excellent! Yeah,
made it look better than factory.
Oh, excellent!
Professional.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
How about everyone else?
I've been doing all right. I haven't been doing much anything. I've been just playing around with my Macs and stuff. That's about it.
Yeah, that's a good pastime anyway. Let's face it.
I learned how to focus my webcam.
And we all thank you for it. That's excellent.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good. It actually looks pretty good in this tiny ass little window. Yeah. It looks great for being a 480 or whatever webcam it is.
So am I correct in saying this is one that has a manual focus and you hadn't realized that?
Yeah, I didn't know you could focus webcam.
Okay. Well, you're looking perfect tonight, I have to say, Mike. Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
the light is shining off my bald head. Everybody can see it. It's just a good day.
And look, Grudy's with us right from the beginning of the show. How good is that? What have you been up to?
Wasn't I here last week? Right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But have you wrecked anything lately, Grudy?
Not currently, no.
He doesn't have anything that runs.
Everything is crashed. Basically, that's the biggest problem I have.
Yeah, there you go. See, you can't wreck it if it doesn't run.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of videos lately. In fact, one of them is premiering right after the show.
Oh, excellent. Well timed.
Yeah.
And how about you, Kate? Have you been doing anything interesting of late? I see a lovely background going on there. I don't think I've seen before.
This is my new studio. I guess a couple weeks ago, I put out my history of logo programming video. So a plug right from the beginning. And
excellent. Yeah.
I also have this new rug I got in the mail.
Oh, wow. Did that cost you like $3,000? I'm just curious.
It was $30,000, one of a kind, rare Apple rug. No, it was like $200 at the most after shipping from China. So.
And how does it smell? Does it have that new smell?
It has that almost like a new shoe smell, but new shoe
So it
and
smells like cyanide.
probably
New
some
rug
cyanide, some arsenic.
A little bit of formaldehyde here and there.
Probably
just your normal everything a growing girl needs. You know?
that good old new made in China smell. So
I'll probably put it back in the garage.
Word of warning to everybody. I joined the call. Kate was already here, and I was like, let me start with a compliment. So, ooh, nice office you got there. Bit my head clean off. Do not call it an office. It's a studio.
This is my studio, guys.
Studio.
No.
Yep. Same thing as when you call my workshop a shed. It's no. Workshop. It's not a shed.
We upgrade that to a lab.
See, now this is my living room. And it's my office, and it's my studio, and it's my dining room. And on good days, it's even the bedroom.
And I feel like there's a distinct lack of cats on camera at the moment, Mike. What's going on there?
Prada!
Oh, Lord.
Come here!
Yeah, I got you all fooled. This is his green screen. I'm on the toilet right now.
That wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Oh dear. Okay, well, on that note, I think we've travelled to the new depths. Let's start with the stuff. So now I didn't actually put this one in here, but we've got a link in it. We've got one news item today, and it is: despite potshots, Intel and Samsung want to make Apple Silicon. So if anyone else wants to put that link into the chat there.
Yeah, I actually read that too, and it's actually pretty interesting because after all the little digs they've been going, like especially that new ad that Apple or that Intel came out with, they're trying to dig on Apple's computers. That if you got this computer, it does this, it folds in half or whatever. And I'm sitting there thinking, because I watched what was the one guy that does the videos. He did a podcast on that, and he was laughing.
The one guy that does the videos.
I know the guy that does the videos. Yes,
I know a few of them.
I'm trying to think of his name now. I can't remember his name. Brandley or whatever. But anyways, he was on there, and he's
the one that wears the shirt.
Yeah,
MKBHD, that guy. Yes.
No.
No.
Not him.
Brownlee?
Brownlee, that's it.
Yeah,
Brownlee.
there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Thanks, Ken.
MKBHD. There we go. Yep. But anyways, he was on there, and they were laughing at it because basically everything they were showing there was not Intel specific. I mean, Intel put the chip in it. That's all. Everything that was made that they were demonstrating wasn't Intel designed. That's what was so funny about it.
Yep. No, it is a bit silly. And so, who found out they want to make Apple Silicon?
Well, you got to remember that Samsung and Intel manufacture, their own chips and stuff. So they want the contracts to actually produce the chips for Apple. I'm not sure if Apple's going to want to do that or not. Because
don't they have their own manufacturing facilities?
No, I think they use a different. It's someplace in China.
They bought somewhere,
TMS.
didn't they? I mean, I thought I could be completely wrong with this, but I thought that there was a place that was doing it, and they bought them. But I could be completely wrong with that.
That's what I thought.
It's I think TMS.
Yeah, I think Grudy's right.
Yeah.
It's TSMC.
TSMC. There we go.
TSMC,
Justin Morgan.
Thanks,
said.
Justin.
Taiwan-based, I think.
Okay. All right.
But it seems like, I don't know, Apple probably has some good trade secrets that Intel and Samsung want to get a hold of. On making
I think so
these
too.
Really
Yeah.
efficient cores, these really efficient processors that they would love to have similar ones in their mobile, their laptops, or any new product they have. So Intel's probably looking to increase their portfolio and their products that they can produce. So I don't blame them for wanting to do it, but it's kind of
I think
of them a little bit.
I think the biggest problem with Intel and AMD specifically is that they pretty much brought x86 architecture to the max. There's just no more that you can squeeze out of that architecture after 40 some plus years.
Yeah.
So I think it's
right there.
I think it's done. I mean, they're not getting any faster. The only way they're getting faster is they just add more cores. I mean, the speed of each core is not getting any faster.
Yeah. And of course, the thing that we'll obviously cover when we start talking about the Keynote stuff is that whole thing is about the amount of computing power you get versus the amount of electricity power you get, whatever they call it, power per watt or whatever they call it. That's the big thing, isn't it? I mean, with all the mobile devices and everything like that. So it's all very well if they can go in and they can make these great big powerhouses, but if they can't put them in a laptop, you lose a big chunk of market there.
Well, you got to remember, Apple did the same thing when they switched from PowerPC to Intel because the PowerPC, remember, they could never make a G5 laptop.
No.
Wasn't that,
never happened.
and I'm sure Ken is going to give me the name if one of you doesn't do it. The dude that collects all the prototypes, doesn't he have a PowerBook with a G5 chip in it?
Yeah.
No,
Or a dual G4?
I don't think he
One
does.
of the two.
it might
No,
be
it's
a dual G4, but I don't think there was ever really a G5.
No, it's a G5.
Is there?
It is.
Yeah.
App. Yeah, that's the one. Why is
Yeah,
GT here? Ken has all the answers. Let's kick GT out.
Oh dear.
As much as I do not like the G5, I would love a G5 laptop. It would just be
Can you imagine how hot that would be on your lap?
Can't be any hotter than a Core 2 Duo running at full bore in a 17-inch MacBook Pro that's giving me third-degree burns already.
I'm just imagining you firing up the G5 laptop and the battery's dead.
Yeah, that's it.
Chime. Blink.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't even
Burn
do the
your
memory
lap.
test. The battery's already dead. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I think we'll move on. That was a fascinating news article. We managed to squeeze a lot more out of that than it probably deserved, but that was good. So
What we do.
let's move on to the topic. So the first one, of course, is the Keynote, the latest Apple Keynote with the exciting background that we have on the back of the show here. So, thoughts?
I
Someone
think
get the
Kate
ball
loved
rolling.
it even more because of her in Discord. Let's let Kate go first.
I thought it was super exciting. I mean, I was looking forward to actually seeing Apple use the M1 for a Pro machine, right? Because the original MacBook Pro, you could tell it was just kind of like a Air Plus. Like it wasn't really a Pro machine. And
I agree.
I was really looking forward to seeing whatever. I had a feeling it wouldn't be M1X for some reason, just because everyone was saying it was. And usually Apple twists the name at the very end, like the iWatch that everyone is talking about. So with the M1 Max, that's definitely a huge leap forward in processing power and kind of bringing back the old like 2015 and back look for their laptops, or at least with the ports and having the SD card slot and the expandability is a real big plus. And I was excited. And also colored Apple HomePods were pretty cool too.
I could tell you were excited.
Well, it's
I
a
really want the yellow HomePod. No.
it's a really important thing because it does indicate that Apple have been listening to people, because one of the big complaints that people have had was the fact that the laptops don't have enough ports, and to have brought, and of course people were very happy to see MagSafe go, and so to have a computer bring back MagSafe, bring back extra ports, bring back HDMI, and bring back an SD card slot, to me that really does indicate that they have listened to people, and of course remove the touch bar, which was, never really seemed to progress much further than a gimmick, ultimately. So with a lot of people just saying they preferred, just normal physical function keys. And of course, to have, put a better keyboard in there as well with a decent amount of travel on the keys, all that sort of stuff. So I definitely feel like this is an incredibly positive step for Apple. I think that, I think these particular laptops are going to prove to be very popular.
Yeah, and the one thing that they didn't really mention in the keynote is with the MagSafe, the cable is actually replaceable on the charger now.
Yeah,
it's pretty neat.
And of course, they're still chargeable via USB-C or via Thunderbolt as well. So I mean, you can still charge them via like the traditional means of the last models, but you have the MagSafe option now as well.
Which is great for docks. If I have a couple of Thunderbolt 3 docks that I use, and I can just use that if I feel like splurging to get one of these new laptops.
Yeah.
Well, we know somebody that's already buying one. Who's that?
Hello,
Rudy. Joe was one of them.
You can't even see me on screen. See now.
He's down there in the corner.
Yeah.
All right. How about
Joe's bragging about his 14-inch. I got a 16-inch, so.
Oh, it's getting personal.
Yeah, that's right.
I had in the cart.
Oh,
I had
God.
the 16-inch, 64 gigabytes of RAM, and I was debating 2 terabyte SSD or 4, and then I looked at the final price, which was $5,000 plus tax, and I was like, that's a
You're
little.
like, Mackie's videos are not paying that much yet, right?
It's quite coincidental. I put them in the cart all the time, several times a day, but I never actually press the buy button.
Yes, I.
Until you accidentally press it one time, you're like, no!
Accidentally on purpose. You're like, oops. If I press it, I press it.
You're like,
I stopped doing the whole adding to cart thing a few years ago. It was too depressing.
Oh, you did that with the Mac Pro, didn't you?
I did that with Mac Pro too. Yeah.
So how come you didn't buy one of those, Grudy?
Because I didn't have $50,000, and I'd want the Macs to outone to begin with. So,
Right.
you know.
So I've got a quick question. What are people's thoughts about the fact that it's only an HDMI 2.0, not an HDMI 2.1 port on the laptop?
Who
What's
cares?
the difference?
What's the difference?
Who's going to notice?
Is it a point
The
one?
Who's gonna
2.1
notice?
2.1 can output to a higher resolution screen.
8K.
That's you know, yeah. Look, I'm in this. I tend to agree. I think for the sorts of
I'd
people
use
that,
Thunderbolt anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you what do you use an HDMI port for? You generally use them when you rock up to do a presentation or something like that, and you got to plug into a screen. You know,
Plug it into a
that sort of
TV or
stuff.
something.
Yeah, that's right. So I mean, I tend to agree. I sort of feel like
I'm going to
it's
say,
not
yeah,
necessary.
if you're doing anything over 1080, you should be using Thunderbolt anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
So because it's going to be way faster than HDMI. So I think the HDMI port was included more for convenience, more than anything. It's one of those. Oh my God, I'm on the road. I got to do this. Oh, I can just hook it right up to a TV, and yeah, at least you got something.
You've got to
Same
start
with the
thinking
SD
about
card.
HDMI was developed in the late 90s, early 2000s, and it's basically just an offshoot of DVI. And DVI, you know, met its max a long time ago, and HDMI is about there too. So
Yeah.
Well, some people appear passionate about it. There you go.
I mean, it's nice that Apple's adding ports, right? That's honestly the SD card was something I was thinking they wouldn't do, just because a lot of pro cameras don't use SD cards anymore. They're using SATA drives, right, or some other form of storage, and
Like M.2 maybe or something, or
yeah, and like in my cameras now, I use SATA drives in a recorder, and I don't use SD cards. And I know a lot of people already have like a USB SD card reader, or more than one SD card reader. So I was a little surprised that they still add SD card reader.
well, a quick question I got is, what is the
Said for
maximum
convenience.
size you could get for an SD card, though? I mean, I wouldn't think it's that.
56 gigs.
No, it's
you
bigger
can go
than
up
that.
to I think the max is a terabyte now.
Yeah, I think that
Is
was the
it?
max.
Expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very expensive.
But
it's still the de facto format though.
yeah,
If you're not using a hard drive based system, that is the de facto format for everything.
But isn't SD actually even slower than what Kate was talking about? You know.
Well,
I mean,
but it's still the de facto standard for everything. Every device uses SD cards. Your cameras in your cars, your non-Apple phones, your digital cameras, your camcorders.
Your SCSI SD.
Yeah, everything is
Exactly.
using everything's using SD cards. So it does make sense to put it on. And for someone like you, Kate, you're probably going to hook your thing up to Thunderbolt anyway, because you're going to need that speed, because you're going to be transferring massive amounts of data. You're not going to be transferring a small amounts of data that an SD card is going to hold.
Yeah, bigger data now than before, right? Because now she records in 4K.
Yeah,
bigger files.
and 4K is something like 5 gigs a minute or something like that.
It's a lot, yeah.
Yeah,
It is a lot.
It's
that's why she's not using SD cards. Steve runs into this problem with his camera because he records in 4K, and he has to have like 10 SD cards at the ready for like a half an hour video.
And this is why I use an iPhone.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still just using an old 1080. I'm using a 1080p. It's like a semi-professional one, but it's old. But it still runs on SD cards. All of my cameras are SD cards. The only one that's not is my SLR, digital SLR, which uses compact flash. But I just use a compact flash to SD card adapter for that because I'm just SD cards everywhere. So I really like the idea of having an SD card reader in the computer.
I don't know. I think it looks like it looks like they took design cues from the aluminum PowerBook G4 with the port availability on a mid 2000s Mac laptop and kind of combined the two together to make like the ultimate package, with one freaking exception. And I'm going to let Jay start. I'm going to let Jay start that argument right there.
I'm starting to sweat. I'm shaking. I don't want to go there.
So I mean, before we get to that subject, what about the rest? Like I love everything about it except for that one little thing, and we're going to talk about that later. But
me too.
I thought the computer was great. I thought, oh my gosh, they finally did something right, and they have something that's. I thought it could have been a little bigger on the 16-inch side, but you know. We're guys. We always think it should be bigger. I
have to admit, I was a little disappointed we didn't see the ADB port come back.
Oh,
yeah, I was kind of itching for a serial port myself.
Oh, come on now! You wanted Firewire.
I'd have to add him in the chat.
You wanted Firewire 800. Come on.
But I was, and I'm not even in the market to buy one. I mean, I have an i7 PowerBook and it runs fine, but I thought it was an actually beautiful package. They did a really good design job. They have all the ports you could possibly need this day and age. I mean, you know, except for that one little freaking problem.
You know what?
That just detracts from the whole package.
It doesn't bother me at all.
Well, you haven't even got it yet, so how do you know?
I know, but it doesn't bother me on this.
I'm just going to. We're obviously dancing around the notch. We're talking about the notch on the screen. There is something that I would like to say about the notch. There are lots and lots of people behaving like the camera has encroached on the screen space. This is not the case. The screen space has moved up to either side of the camera. That's the really, really important thing you need to remember. It's not like Apple took some screen away. They added screen on either side of the camera. Now, if you're someone who says, I hate the look of the notch there, you can just black out that top bit and you will still end up with more screen real estate than you did on the earlier models. You can see, looking at this picture here, you see the big gap at the top. The big black gap at the top on the MacBook Pro 13-inch. And then on the bigger ones, you can see that gap is not there, but obviously they need a space to put the camera. So they've just moved. So as I say, my attitude towards it is don't think of the camera encroaching on the screen. Think of the screen moving up to either side of the camera.
But Bruce, my question is look at the bottom of that screen. There's a big chin on there. Why didn't they just make it evenly on both top and bottom?
They probably had stuff to put in there, like hinges and cables and with the backlight LEDs and all that sort of stuff.
Okay, so
actually, these are LED. They don't need a backlight, do they?
No, these are OLEDs, so there is no backlight.
But I'd say there's probably stuff there. I would put it this way: I have the general attitude these days that if there is no screen, like if there is a black area on a screen with an Apple product, it's because that black area needs to be there. If they could turn it into screen, they would have.
I think Sean hit the nail on the head. Well, they removed the touch bar, so technically still a loss of screen real estate. So.
I think it's a beautiful fairy tale.
You're stretching
Bruce.
there.
Beautiful story.
And I read online that when you run an application in full screen mode, since you don't have the bar at the top anymore, the application actually moves down and you don't have a notch anymore. You actually lose a little bit of screen real estate, where the, around the top where the notch is, but it is about the same. It'll turn into the same aspect ratio as like a 2015 or an existing, the older MacBook Pros, right?
So why did they
you're
just
gaining that little piece at the top?
But why didn't they just like cut it right there? I mean, that's
probably because in a year they'll have Face ID, or in 2 years they'll curate.
Well, they could still
ID.
put Face ID with a big black bar on the top, instead of having a notch.
It's there.
We got that kind of argument here of, would they have just been better off not making the screen bigger? And in my opinion, welcome, Dana.
Hey, Dana.
Remember this guy, everyone?
Oh, crap.
No, who's that?
Hey,
can you hear me now?
You seem confused. He hasn't done this in a while.
So, what do you think of the notch, Dana?
Well, we're on that. Okay.
Impeccable timing.
I don't know. I don't know that I mind it. I mean, I have to see it, but it's in the menu bar. I typically, like right now, I'm using a background that's mostly black.
I'll show you a picture of it right there.
I know, I've seen that, but I want to see it
ugly
for real. Yeah, I mean, it's not aesthetically pleasing, but I don't know that it's going to bother me. We'll see. We'll see.
I mean, it's not like I'm ever going to own one anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But
right, I'm not getting one of those. But do they have that on the new iPads? I don't even know.
No, there's no notch on the iPads.
Oh, then
there's no front. Yeah. No, wait, there is a front-facing camera on the iPad.
Right, there is.
But there's a thin bezel all the way around, and they were able to put the camera in the bezel.
So essentially, what you're saying, GT, is you would rather have less screen than a notch. That's essentially what you're putting forward.
No, that's not what I said. I'm saying that what are you gaining on the top up there? Because Mike and I talked about this.
You get more screen real estate, is what you get.
Yeah.
And he showed us a prime example. Okay, that if you have your toolbar up there on the top, or your menu bar, and you have a bunch of icons up there, and then you pull up something like Firefox, which has a bunch of menu options, where's everything going to go now?
When you're in a situation like that, see, this is the important point that I'm trying to make, and that is that if you black out that top section, your screen is still bigger than the previous models. So you have still gained screen real estate, even if you decide you want to black that out. So if you're using an application that uses the entire menu bar, and for whatever reason the notch interferes with that, I don't know. I haven't tried it. I use a few apps with an awful lot in the menu bar. I'll be curious to see. But even if you blank out that entire top section, so that the what are we looking at here?
What is this?
See, this is what I was referring to up here.
Oh,
I have all this stuff here, and then of course I'm running Firefox, so it's got all kinds of menus and stuff, and it's like, okay, so where's all this stuff go?
Yeah, I know. I mean, and as I say, I think that for some people like that, myself included, I've got masses of stuff in the menu bar, but I suspect that we'd be better off in a situation where we don't actually have a notch, and that just whole top section is blacked out. But if you do that, you still have more screen than you had before, because if you black that out, it's still thinner than the height of the bezel on the previous model.
And that's what I'm trying to get at, though, Bruce. If you black that out, why not just cut that out completely and just make it there?
Because for other purposes, having that extra screen real estate might be handy. There might be times where the notch is really not important, and you would actually like to have that extra space at the top. So you have a choice. You've got a choice. So you can use that space or not use that space.
I know personally, when I'm using an app like any Adobe piece of software, I memorize the keyboard shortcuts, and I'm not really operating in the upper menus. I'm mostly in the GUI that's not in the top menu. Either there's a button down below or there's a keyboard shortcut to use. So I'm not really operating in that notch area as much as I probably think I am. And also there's apps like Dozer that you can install that kind of clean up the top menu bar to kind of make it to where it's just 2 dots, and you can, expand all your apps that you have there, which I'm surprised isn't something that's already built into macOS, but
that would be cool if it was.
So
Yeah.
I like that one comment that was just up there. And I think that's the reason why a notch screen is harder and more expensive for a third party to provide a replacement for.
Well, to be fair, the screen is probably serialized and tied into the M1.
Probably is.
So.
Yeah, probably.
Yes,
the concept of replacing these things is kind of, getting these things repaired is kind of gone these days, isn't it?
Somebody said earlier.
Nick wins the internet, man, because he actually came up with an answer, reason why Apple did this.
And you win nothing.
they did it so that we can talk about it. And we're all talking about it, right? So they're getting all this free publicity.
Somebody said
I
earlier.
have nothing positive to say about the notch. So
I don't either.
Brief.
I mean, to be honest,
eyesore. Hold on, it's an eyesore that should not be on the rectangle you expect to be your screen. More space or not, blackout or not, it's a distraction. It's an eyesore. It's hideous. It shouldn't be there, and I hate every second of it. And I don't even own one. And
Jay,
I know that there's people. Hold on, I know there's people that are going to do reviews about it. I think Ken just said it somewhere over there. And this is not towards Ken personally or Grudy, but it's the same with the iPhone. I know people that spend a lot of money on the new phone, the new Mac, new this, new that, and they will review it, and it's the best thing ever. They just spent a ton of money on it. They are not going to admit that they hate it. An honest, unbiased review is very hard to come by. I don't care who says that they're going to be honest about it. I don't trust it. You just spent a lot of money on that hardware. You're not going to knock it. You're gonna live in denial, and you're going to force yourself to love it. And yeah, I don't trust it.
Well,
I like this one right here.
I did. Look, I got a notch right here.
Well,
I
what I was talking about, Jay, was
You
that
did.
Jay came up with a thing. Everybody should take a piece of black tape and put it on your monitor and see how you like that piece of tape sitting there.
You're going to hate your life after 5 minutes.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. There is absolutely no doubt about the fact that the notch is polarizing. I think no matter what benefits it might give or not, there will just always be haters. And I suspect some people won't even notice it's there.
So here's my next question. When's the first PC you're going to see come out with a notch? Because everybody's going to copy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Right.
But it's like this, guys. When you're using your iPhone, if you have the notch, do you ever really notice it?
Yes, every damn second I use it.
I never notice it. It doesn't bother me.
I don't know. I don't notice it on mine.
And Bruce did.
I must have bought the notch. I must have bought the notchless version.
I don't see it.
Bruce, you said, because we had a discussion offline about this, that when you black out the top of the screen, it kind of blends in with the black. And if that is the case, be happy with your notch. I'll sing Kumbaya and celebrate with you. But I don't think the LCD part is going to have the same reflective coating or the same, it's going to stand out. That notch is plastic. It's not the same material as the LCD. So I think when you black out the bar on either side, you're still going to see the notch, and it's still going to be a visual distraction.
The whole screen's glass.
Yeah, the other thing is that it's an LED screen, which means they're very, very bright and contrasty. And I suspect that while the screen is on, maybe if the whole screen is just displaying black, you might see the difference. But I think if you're looking at the screen in normal circumstances, I suspect that your eyes will adjust to whatever you're looking at, and the black bit at the top will just appear black. That's
if
what
that
I
is
think.
The case, and I will check it out at the local Micro Center. Once they have them, I will go there in person, check it out. I'm not going to trust any reviews or photos or videos. I'm going to check it out in person. And if the notch disappears when you black out the bar, I'm on board with it. In that case,
that means you're going to end up with a MacBook Pro.
No, No. That means I need $6,000 first, which I don't have. So
You don't need to buy the maxed out one.
yes, I do. But I'm gonna buy the base model, and a year from now, I'm gonna be sitting here on MacYak episode 500 or whatever we're gonna be up to, ranting about having not enough RAM, not enough storage space. You gotta buy it maxed out. You're gonna hate yourself if you don't.
Yeah, you can't buy a laptop that's non-upgradable and not max it out, really.
And that's why Apple did that. And if you
You want
notice,
it to last.
the Apple tax on those things is ridiculous.
GT, can you pull up that website again? And what is a 16-inch with
let's go.
decked out? What does that go for?
Why don't you ask Rudy?
Hold on.
He didn't get the 8 terabyte.
I have to admit, though, the one thing I am really looking forward to is
It
seeing
was
some
$6
speed
grand for the
benchmarks.
8 terabyte, I think. 6,200.
Thank you, Angel.
Thank you, Angel.
Yeah, thank you, Angel.
Hey.
Yeah.
So,
well,
just
the problem
starting
is,
out at the 16-inch.
Angel, the problem is that once we have them on, they never leave happy. So they typically don't come back until a few months have passed. So it's probably not going to happen, but thank you for the super chat.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so if we start out, and this is the 16, because if I'm going to buy one, I'm going to buy one with the M1 Max chip, which is 16-inch MacBook Pro. I don't care what color right now, but you're going to want to buy the 64 gigabyte of memory. Already,
I think 32 is going to last us a while, I think.
Yeah, but are you going to be on MacYak on 500 saying 32 is not enough anymore?
Yeah.
Well, let's max it out all the way.
All right, so that we're already adding $400 of Apple tax on that. So now it comes standard with a 1 terabyte
Well,
SSD.
it's probably Samsung tax, but yeah.
All right, but you can get all the way up to 8 terabyte. So let's go with the 8
For
terabyte.
$2,200.
Wow.
All right.
Crikey.
That's a bit
So
much.
you automatically get the keyboard stuff. So do we want to add Final Cut Pro?
Nope, got it.
Do we want to add Logic Pro?
Nah, I got that too.
So there we go, $6,099. So $6,100.
$100.
Nice.
Or it's only $508 a month for 12 months.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
I'm
a
going to
deal.
see what the Australia tax is on this thing.
You'll get free Apple TV for a year if you buy it now.
Ooh.
$508 a month. That's more than my rent.
That's cheap.
That's more than my car payment. Oh, wait, I don't have a car payment.
So, yeah, I mean, if you're going to get a Pro, especially a Pro machine, you're going to want that M1 Max chip. I think that's a given.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The M1, they introduced the M1 in all the basic machines, all the lightweight hardware, and it turned out to, as soon as they put an M1 in a MacBook Air, it turned out to be a Pro machine. It was that powerful.
Yeah.
So I think even if you go with the M1, what's it called? Pro Max Plus S.
Pro.
Okay, Pro. Even if you go with the Pro, you're gonna have a pretty serious workhorse.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Well, can you imagine what the actual Pro chips are going to look like? Because what is it? They got a 2-year time span where they're doing all the switchovers. So that means next year the Mac Pro is actually going to come out, probably with the ARM processor.
Maybe. I'm excited to see what they do for if there's going to be a new Mac Mini revision. The rumors are February 2022, maybe. We might see something there with Mac Mini and a desktop Mac.
I will consider a Mac Mini. The next, the M1 was a first generation piece of hardware. I don't do first gen hardware. The next generation, I will probably pick up a Mini, just to offload some of the tasks, very CPU intensive tasks. I think I might.
You can always use something like a Jump Desktop to remote into the Mini from your 2012 MacBook Air or 2013 MacBook Air and just kind of use the M1 remote desktop. That's what I've been doing to edit videos and stuff.
And thank you a lot there, Shady Robot, for the $5. Appreciate
Yeah, much
that.
appreciated
Thank
there.
you.
So just a smidge over $9,000 for the same configuration if you want to buy it here in Australia.
Wow.
So that means we need at least another. We got $10 so far. So we need another $6,900 or $6,090
each. Bruce is not the only one getting a new Mac.
Yeah.
But one more thing, and just nobody can predict this, but I'm curious what people think. Will the new iMac have a notch?
Ooh.
Thank you, Sean.
That's a good question, but notch abatement.
They already introduced the new iMac. And
they did.
Well, they're going to have a new one here sooner or later, and
I would imagine it's only a size bump, maybe a 30-inch or a 28-inch iMac or something. But
I would probably, since they said 24, what the last was a 24-inch, correct?
Yes.
So
and
I'm
previously
thinking
it was 21/27, so maybe it's 24/30.
I'm thinking 30-inch is probably going to be the next iMac.
I don't think it would have a notch. I think the notch is purely a mobile thing. But
what if it would have a notch? Would you be as apologetic about it as you are now towards the MacBook Pro?
Look at her now. Oh, she's back.
Right. Well, with a 30-inch screen, you're not going to have your icons and menu bars running into each other at the top. So a notch wouldn't be as bad, but
I don't know. Have you seen Bruce's system tray?
It's not as bad as it used to be. Sorry about that.
Say, he fixed it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I now feel for you, Bruce.
Why? What have I done?
I hopped over to the Australian site.
Yes.
And priced out a maxed out Mac Pro, and it's $80,108.
Jeez,
that's US. That's Australian dollars. So
that's Australian dollars. Yeah,
you
right.
converted your US dollars, $50,000 US dollars.
It's still a lot more. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Ken's prediction. Let's just all be unhappy so we can agree.
So, I mean, how far away do you think we are from having a Mac Pro with M1 chips in it, with Apple?
2 years.
I think either next year or the year after. I think Jay's right.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm thinking they're going to probably put more than one processor in the machine. It's going to be probably 2, maybe 4 processors even.
I would think you're right.
Oh, yeah. If I had to guess, I would say summer of 2023.
Even though they set out for this 2-year timeline to transition away from Intel, keep in mind that G5, Mac Pro, all the Mac Pros, the 13-inch Mac Pro, 13-inch, 2013 Mac Pro, they waited forever to spec bump it. The current Mac Pro did not get a spec bump. They're always behind on schedule with the Mac Pro. So I think this whole transition thing is going to take longer than they said it would.
That's a good question from Ken right there.
Yeah.
Because remember, you've got the GPU built into this new M1 chip. You've got the memory built in, everything built in. So
the answer is Grudy will let us know as soon as it's available.
I probably won't have that kind of money.
Now, no one's actually got any of these new Macs in their hands yet, have they? So we haven't seen any speed benchmarks or anything at all.
Well,
so
actually, there is a Geekbench out there in the wild somebody found that actually has it really shockingly fast.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Anubis 2.0.
Yes, I would like that. That'd be nice.
Before we move on, how does Mackie feel about all this new stuff?
Yeah.
Is he intimidated?
He's a little intimidated with all this speed going on. But
how would Mackie feel about having a notch on his face?
Oh, look at it. Oh, he's
I don't think he wants I don't think he would like that. Yeah, he'll do a baseball cap. A baseball cap is like a human notch, right? So
yeah.
Okay, well, unless other people have sort of stuff they want to go on about this, I think we might move on to the next topic.
Fine.
I mean, we don't have to. We can keep talking about the keynote, but I think we've covered everything.
I think we have.
Yeah.
We beat the notch to death.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So we're going to. I knew that would make Dana laugh. Okay, so the next one is newer, better, faster. With each release of the latest hardware, how do we feel about our beloved aging iron? Or aging hardware. There we go. So
it's starting to sting a little. as my primary machine is a 2012 Mac Pro, a Mac that has laughed at the latest and greatest hardware for almost 10 years. Up to the iMac Pro, but still all the laptops and everything else still was like, ha, idiot. Why don't you buy a Mac Pro? Now it is definitely not keeping up with even a MacBook Air. Basic tasks. I mean, when it comes to, 128 gigs of RAM, running a ton of virtual machines, no M1 is going to outpace me. There's just no way. But it's just faster than everything else. So it's starting to sting a little, but I still think I can get quite a few more years out of this.
I have to agree with Jay on this because, to be honest with you, I love my Mac Pro and the expandability it can do. I mean, we're getting to the point where there is no more hardware expansion you can actually do to it. In fact, Greg Grant just put out a video today talking about the newest video cards from AMD, the 69 and 6800 series.
Yeah.
Those will not work in a classic Mac Pro because the EFI ROMs, basically, it won't even boot. You can't even boot Linux. You can't boot Windows. You can't boot anything. It will not boot at all with the new GPU in it. So basically, the last AMD card you could put in there is a 5700 series. Is the latest and greatest AMD GPU.
Which is still 10 times faster than what I currently have.
Yes, exactly. And it's still it's only one generation old right now too. So we're talking about a year-old card that still works fine in these Mac Pros.
And honestly, there's probably going to be some kind of workaround to make it work.
No, the way if you watch that video that Greg just put out today, the only workaround is to hack the ROM itself. And that's not even guaranteeing it's going to work.
Someone will figure it out.
But
exactly.
Which means that you could basically brick your brand new $3,000 GPU, because right now GPUs are not cheap.
I mean, I wouldn't be putting a $3,000 GPU into my Mac that's worth like $300 anyway. So
there's a lot of people out there trying to do that now. That's the problem.
Why not? I know. What does the value of your Mac Pro have to do with it? If the end result is a machine that can edit 20 8K streams at the same time or whatever ridiculous benchmark is out there, I'd do it.
The CPU would be a giant bottleneck, really.
Yeah, the CPU and I think the PCIe 2.0 bus is the main factor in.
The new card is a 5, not a 2 PCIe. So it's really starting to show it there.
Well, you just get me one of those cards. I'll try it.
Yeah.
I have to confess that every time a new OS update comes out, I get a bit of anxiety because I am someone who's quite content to just keep working with what I have. But then I know that someday there'll be an update that'll come out and it'll say, this doesn't work on your computer anymore. And be like, I've got to update the OS. And I find it kind of frustrating because every time one of those new OS updates comes out, the computer is just falling that little bit further and further behind. I mean, it's fine for pretty much everything that I do, but I have to work with software that other people use. You know what I mean? I have to get files from people, and they might have built them on newer version of the software that I don't have, and I can't install because I don't have the latest version of the OS on the computer. That's the sort of thing that I get frustrated by. So I blame other people.
Every WWDC, a group of Macs just kind of falls off, right? Or older Macs just get that 1 year older, and it is tough. I guess my newest Mac right now, aside from my M1, that is really used, my boyfriend uses that one more, is my 2017 iMac. And I've upgraded the CPU and the RAM and the hard drive in there, the M.2 drive, and trying to make it last as long as possible. Like, it's tempting to get one of the new, M1 Maxes to replace it, but maybe it's a little bit of a sunk cost fallacy where I have put so much time and energy into upgrading this older hardware that it to me, it feels like I'm more connected to that hardware than if I were to just go out and buy the latest and greatest thing off the shelf.
I really enjoyed that video, by the way.
Oh, the iMac upgrading video?
Yeah. It was nice.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And this is why you do not give your Mac a face. You get emotionally attached and you can upgrade.
I don't have anything here newer than 2014. I've got lots and lots and lots of Macs here that I'm using all the time, but nothing newer than 2014 in the house.
My newest one is a MacBook Pro 2017. Everything else is older than that.
Other than the M1 I'm on and the one I just bought, this is the newest one I have. And it's in 2014.
With each event, I'm tempted to buy something new.
Yeah. I came close to
I've
getting
been
a new
keeping up with the
Mini.
iPhones. Yeah.
This guy is the only one I know that buys a 2014 MacBook Air along with a 2021 M1 in the same week. It doesn't make any sense.
It's Grudy.
No, not a lot of sense, mate.
It was actually 2 weeks ago, but yeah.
Yeah, well,
I think my newest Mac is a 2012 Mini, but the newest Apple device that I have is a Apple TV 4K.
Oh, yes. So I didn't think of the Apple TV or the phone for that matter.
But it's not really, I mean, it's not a computer. It's just your...
This is the newest thing I have, and it's from 2016.
If you count the phone, this is a iPhone 12 Pro. But, you know, I thought we was talking about computers, but, you know.
Yeah, I think we were.
Yeah.
Computer-wise, my newest one's a 2012 Mini. But I never use it. I always use my 2009 Mac Pro because it does everything I want, and it will continue to do everything I want until it goes up in flames. And when it goes up in flames, then I will blame Jay for doing shoddy repairs to it.
yeah, 6 years later.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I'm going to write a strongly worded letter to Apple and ask them to stop upgrading the OS so that our computers will last longer.
Right.
No kidding.
Well, here's another thought too. Is, you know, the OSs that they update and upgrade, they're not putting much more into them nowadays. Like, if you can run Mojave now and pretty much do everything on there. Now, the biggest problem is guess what? Apple updates Numbers, Pages, and Keynote to only work with the latest operating system. So
a simple solution: don't use them.
Yeah.
Right.
And we found out the hard way once somebody actually edits a document in the newest one. Everyone else that's using a lower version cannot go in there and edit. You know. So yeah, that was me. It's the reason why we use Notes now.
I don't have a problem with Apple. This is a hard word to get out of my mouth when it comes to Apple, but innovate the operating system and get new features and stuff. I don't care. Do what you do. My problem is the software developers, and the prime example is Adobe. They have been lazy for the last 15 plus years. They have been lazy because they know that their customers will just keep throwing faster hardware at it. They don't have to optimize the code. They don't have to rewrite anything. And it's not a problem once you have that new hardware. But for me, sitting here on a 2012 Mac with Mojave on it. Is it Mojave? Yeah, I got Mojave. I cannot run Photoshop 2023, for example, because they're going to ditch Intel so fast and move to the newer and faster just so that they don't have to put in the work to optimize it for the older architecture. So at that point, I'm going to be stuck with the older version just because they're lazy.
And one of the biggest problems with the developers is they're starting to implement newer instruction sets that our Mac Pros don't even have, like AVX, which is going to be a problem too.
Yeah.
The thing that always gets me is that if I were to go back several operating systems and fire up, say, a copy of Photoshop CS3 or CS4, I can do virtually everything I want to do in that, and I can do it way faster than I can do with the latest Photoshop running on the Mojave, say, for example. Now, okay, I totally accept that they've added certain features to the software in that time, but I don't use most of them. Most of what I'm doing is usually just, a little bit of retouching here and there, a bit of cropping and scaling, a little bit of multi-layer work. But everything that I am using is pretty much has been around for years. And it's a very frustrating thing when you fire up a really old computer with a really old operating system and a really old copy of Photoshop and find your user experience better than it is today on a faster computer. And it just speaks completely to what Jay was saying, that they have just got really lazy with their development. They have just been putting things on top and on top and on top and on top.
And I don't mind for myself, but I know that people like Dana, people like my wife, they do have to accept InDesign files from a company or from someone that you can't open in InDesign version 6 or whatever. Right. They need not necessarily the latest, but they cannot typically be more than 2 or 3 years behind before the compatibility is just over.
There is a workaround to that Adobe came up with, and it's if you have, so you're using InDesign 2021 and your designer's using 2019 or 2018 or whatever they call it. You can export your InDesign file as an IDML file. And they can open that and it will convert. But like you said,
InDesign markup language.
Yes. Certain older versions that it just at some point it doesn't work.
Yeah. So. This is the thing that if you are you do have the InDesign markup language option for exporting out of InDesign, and to some extent with Photoshop as well. You know, you can save multi-layered Photoshop files that will open up into older versions. But with InDesign in particular, when certainly the work that I do, where I am having to replicate, say someone sends me a design in InDesign that I have to then turn into a web page, I can't risk opening up a file where something might look slightly different, or something might drop off, or an effect may not be applied, or something like that. That what I have doesn't look exactly like the designer intended. So yes, InDesign markup language will work for those minor version variations, but if you go back too far, you're likely to see things not look right.
And these are all valid reasons to have a little rant here on MacYak. Then there are the completely irrational people like me that refuse to upgrade because Unreal Tournament is not compatible.
Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned this many times on the show before. Aperture is one of the things that stopped me from upgrading because it's 32-bit, not 64, and I still like it. And Apple don't support it anymore. So the minute I change from Mojave, I won't be able to use Aperture anymore.
I loved Aperture, and I was forced to switch to Lightroom once I just wanted to get to the new OSs, right? I was staying on Mojave for the longest time, and I just had to move on, just get those new features and stuff.
A quick question, drifting slightly off topic, but back in the day, it used to be very possible or very popular to say, okay, I need the latest OS because of this, but I still do everything else in that. And people would partition their hard drive, install both. But lately, it sounds, from all the people I hear about this, they either forgot that it's an option or they just don't want to do it anymore. And I wonder why.
There are problems associated with that, and I can give you one example would be, say, if you're using Backblaze. Once you start booting into another operating system, you know, you can't have that same copy of Backblaze backing up. So you have to have Backblaze running on one and not running on the other. So the minute you flick over to the other one, you're not being backed up. Or if you have it switched on, then the computer is just going to get as confused as anything because, you know, complete mess with the two.
Yeah.
So that's one.
Justin.
Like,
I think that worked better when your computer was more of a single-use appliance, right? Back when you didn't really have to worry about getting online, getting to the net, getting connected to all these different accounts. You just would boot up your OS 9, OS 8 instance and get into Photoshop. But now you have all these, you know, iCloud accounts and different email accounts and chats that you have to sync up with essentially two machines now and two different OS instances.
Yeah, valid point. And Christian has a point as well. Virtualization is great. And I would use it for Unreal Tournament or older version of Photoshop. But the problem is, it's great if you have a lot of cores to spare. Graphics-wise, you suffer like nothing else in a virtual environment. So
yeah, because virtual machines don't use graphics, GPUs very easy.
Yeah. But my dad, he does a lot with music. and he used to have a dual boot ever since his Atari. He could only do one task. Then he got a G3 with a game, and then he started partitioning and dual booting. But over the years, it kind of merged into one OS, and now it's like, oh, this doesn't work because Firefox is hogging too much, and people kind of forget about dual booting. And I got him back on it, so he can, he wants to work on his music, boot up into the OS of choice, Cubase version of choice, just do your thing for a few hours, no distractions, everything works great, and then boot back into your main OS where you have your email, your browsers, your everything else. So it's a bit of a hassle sometimes, but it's still a good way to get maximum performance out of whatever you're trying to do.
I think Christian's trying to get your attention, Jay.
Keep you pass through. All right, send me an email on how to make VMware Fusion use my GPU, and I'll get on it.
And the puck mouse, right?
That always works.
Okay, well, I think we can probably move on to the next topic, unless anyone has any objections.
Before we do that, let's
Smash that like button.
Okay, has everyone smashed it now? We got all the smashing out of the system?
Yep, we did.
Excellent. Now, should we do our eat quack now? What do you reckon?
I reckon we should.
Okay.
I guess we can.
All right, so for those who don't know the rules, everyone should, but for anyone who doesn't know the rules, I'm about to say something, ask a question, and you eep if you have, quack if you haven't. So that's pretty much it. So the first one, and this one is from Retro Techie.
No. Read the screen here.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna do that one first.
Oh, okay. Eep if Team Notch, or quack if Team Screw the Notch.
Quack.
Eep.
Somebody didn't proofread.
Yes.
Eep.
Oh, come on.
Eep.
Oh, well, who cares? It's what I meant.
I'm glad to hear you got your
I do
clock
now.
back in operation, GT,
Yes, it's back.
and it's still 3 minutes slow.
That was 2 minutes slow.
Okay, so that was the first one. We've definitely got a few eeps there and a couple of quacks. So
I
as I
understand.
said, I
No,
think
there's a bunch of
definitely
quacks
got
in there.
we've got a
Okay.
we've got a, as I mentioned before, it's definitely a polarizing one. So
Team
so-
Quack,
sure.
Team Quack.
I abstain.
Ben even went with an eep.
Dana, would you like to read the next one? Seeing as we don't see you here very often.
No, I don't want to.
It's on the screen right there.
Have you ever started a fire when repairing one of your Macs?
I gotta go back.
Well,
Come on, Bruce. I want to hear
Quack, quack. No, I haven't.
it. I saw
Quack.
it happen
No
live on
fires.
Bruce's.
No fires.
For me, it's
It
a
was
quack,
fire. That was just a small explosion.
It was a very short-lived fire.
but it's still a fire.
Just went,
It was a good fire.
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But that's
But you had to be there live to see it.
you're not doing it properly if you don't get a fire from time to time.
Now, I know
Yeah, there
Jay
you
has
go.
that video clip. Is he trying to find it, or did he?
No, he's embarrassed.
Oh,
'cause he has
yeah.
I had to leave.
Yeah.
Yes, and definitely an eep. I can remember
Yeah.
especially one of them that I blew up. Okay, multiple ones have blown up.
Yeah. It's all coming back to you
On
now,
purpose?
isn't
Yeah. Not on purpose, but
Well-
yeah.
Yeah. On the same one, I actually got a part 2 to the same one because he kind of made it all in one, but I wanted to make this 2 of them because here's the second part to it. Oh, wrong one. Sorry.
I don't know
yeah.
what to say.
Oh, there it is right there.
Quack.
it?
Punctured the battery? No, quack that one. Never
That's a
punctured
quack
the
for me, yes.
That's
Well-
never.
dangerous.
Although I've done that to an iPhone once. But it's not Mac.
battery.
By the way,
I know this-
Mike, did you eep the whole fire thing?
No, I have never set a Mac on fire.
You lie.
What's
I
that
have,
one?
I have a G4 CPU card here that came from you that says otherwise.
That is not from me. And it didn't catch fire. It just got a little hot. There were no flames bursting out of it. Now
you could
I have set several PCs on fire.
It was a low grade
Man.
fire.
over the
I have
years.
too.
So
But it didn't specify a computer. It just said, "Have you set a Mac on fire?" I've never set a Mac on fire. Just a couple of PCs, and they deserved it.
Yeah.
I won't disagree with you.
I
I
know
went
I'm
through,
going
I
to hell
think-
for this, but I love watching batteries explode. You know, those videos of people's batteries exploding.
Yeah.
They're great fun to watch.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Tesla has a lot of those videos.
Yeah.
We call them live street tests.
All right. Last
we got one more. Who wants to read the last one?
Have you built a Windows? Nope.
All right, I'll read it. Have you built a Windows PC to game on because you can't game on your Mac?
Quack.
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 Eep.
Eep.
Quack.
Eep.
I
Whack.
have done that.
If it doesn't game on my Mac, I don't play it.
Yeah. I'm
That's why we're
same
friends.
Here's the
Yeah.
problem, though, is that I do iRacing, and they do not have a Mac version anymore. They used to, but they stopped doing it. So,
Well, I guess it sucks to be you.
yep, that's the reason why I have a PC sitting right here beside me that I do my gaming on.
I thought you did that on your Mac Pro.
I did
Why not now?
because
You want
the
a
Mac Pro
computer
is
with
too
RGB
slow
lights
now.
in it.
The Mac Pro is just too slow right now, CPU wise, to do any gaming on. Remember, gaming uses single core processes, so the Mac Pro's 10-year-old processors just can't handle the new games that are out now.
Mm-hmm.
GPU wise, yes, it can handle it, but everything else, the game dynamics and physics of it, it can't handle.
Gaming on a cornerstone. Well, I'm with you, Adam. They're the
So I
sort of
built
games
a
I play as well.
I built a PC and I used it headless I use Steam Link and Moonlight to connect through. Basically, it uses the NVIDIA GPU streaming capabilities of my graphics card, and I can send it to my Mac and play it on my iMac in
I might have to try that one of these days.
1440p, and it's pretty fast, especially when you have gigabit Ethernet. So it's
That's
Nice.
excellent.
I like it. Yes, it is a Windows PC, but it's tucked away in the closet and
Where it should be.
right.
Does it have RGB
And I can
lights in
boot it remotely and everything too. So that's nice.
Jay said, does it have RGB on it?
No RGB. Just
Oh, thank God.
Sean would be very disappointed then.
I'm really going to make Jay sick. I just repaired my gaming PC the other day.
And he's not even here. We can't even see him. See
No.
the response on his face.
Well,
Did
he's-
anyone just hear a horse fart? I heard.
Yeah, he's throwing up right now.
Oh, sorry.
Oh dear. Alrighty, on to the next topic. And this one, well, I think this one could potentially be a short one, but
Yes.
so how many of us suffer from impulse buying the latest tech?
Not anymore. Yeah.
I could say I'm an absolute no for that one.
Me too. I'm a no.
Yeah.
I used to be an absolute no until a few days ago.
No.
Yeah,
Who
no
bought-
one-
iPhone.
No one's
And the
convinced.
M1
No,
MacBook
don't even
Pro.
try that, Grudy. Come on now. Who bought
I guess
the very first M1 when it first came out?
Well, I'm talking to you on it right now.
Exactly.
She did
You
too.
bought it as soon as it
Yeah.
came
I did
out.
it, and I look at these headphones I'm using. I think I'm guilty.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I used to be
But
that way.
To a
But
limit. I'm not going to spend $5,000 on a MacBook
Yeah.
Pro.
I mean,
I have a
did
perfectly
buy-
fine computer that works.
I
you
did
seem
buy an
very
Apple Watch.
eager to get the HomePod, though.
Ooh, yes.
See that face?
Grudy,
He's
didn't
gonna
you
order it
buy the
tonight.
HomePod?
Huh?
Didn't you buy the HomePod when it first came out too?
No.
Yeah, I thought
No, I
you
bought
did.
the HomePods when they got discontinued.
But you bought the Mini though, right when it came out.
Yeah, and
Yeah, you didn't
it's
like it.
basically as good as a baseball to me. I never use it. It's a
But
really
you still
crappy
bought it.
product. Yeah, I regret
like my-
buying it too.
I like my HomePods. I have several.
Yeah.
For a while, the HomePods, the big ones, were going for like $150, $130 on eBay, and I got a couple And now they're
How many
going.
do you have?
I wish I'd had found
Like
those
8?
then. Yeah.
8?
8?
I have 8 HomePod minis or the big ones. I have like 4 of the big ones because they sound
I
good.
only have
She
3
likes
of the big
stereo.
ones.
She doesn't like
You've
just
already
the-
got me.
I have the
beat.
stereo with my Apple TV and the den, and then I have them.
You know what I've been looking for lately is one of those old iPod hi-fis.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I really
I
want
think
one.
Kate has surpassed you on the suffering the latest syndrome here.
I bought AirTags as soon
Not
as they
with the
came
pieces.
out. Does that count?
No, well, that's only one
Okay.
thing.
Yep.
We're talking multiple things here.
Well, it came in a pack of 4.
You bought 4.
But this
Right.
also can get into that impulse buy and buying shiny new to you tech on eBay, right?
Oh, definitely guilty.
It's true. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that I think we're all guilty of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, new to you stuff. Yeah.
Look what I got this
That's-
week.
I used to be the kind that would go and buy the latest and greatest, assuming I could afford it. And then one time, let's see, in 1998, I spent $3,800 on a new PowerBook 3400, and I stopped and I went, "The hell am I doing?"
Cool, Jay. I used to have one of those from my
What is that?
old iPod Classic.
Backup battery pack for
Oh, wow.
iPod.
You
I
see
didn't
the
have
little-
one yet. So.
Is that
Those
for
were
an
suction
iPad?
cups to
iPod?
stick them to the back of the iPod.
Mm.
Yep.
Is the battery still good on that?
Well, it uses double A's.
Oh.
I still have
yes.
mine, but my cord's all frayed, and I have to replace it.
So definitely guilty when it comes to new to me old stuff, but not the new
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
my impulse
guilty
buying
of
is
impulse.
all old stuff now.
yes, I'm definitely guilty of impulse buying, but just not new stuff.
It
Yeah,
used to be
if I-
easier to be an impulse buyer until you get your own house, pay for your own rent and electric and stuff.
That's for sure. All right. If everyone has had their say on that one, I will move on to the next topic. This is our.
Let's do
What
it.
are we doing for time? This is our second last topic. So,
All right.
top 3 must-haves: conversion technology pieces of hardware.
Conversion technology.
Conversion.
Where's Ken at?
technology.
See, is Ken
hi,
left
Ken's
us?
Yeah,
still
definitely
here.
need Ken here.
Ken needs a little like animated graphic. Conversion technology.
Who's starting?
I'll
Well,
kick it
you-
off
okay.
because I gotta go get a drink real quick.
Did
Firewire
somebody
400 to
say?
800 cable. That is
Yep.
a must-have, and it's one cable, but it's still conversion technology, right?
Yeah.
Technically.
Firewire. Okay, so Firewire 400 to 800.
Yep.
Thunderbolt to Ethernet. Could not live without it. Absolutely not. And USB to SD card. Those are my 3.
Well, if
Yeah,
you have a new
Goodness
MacBook,
took everybody's 3, I think, pretty much.
I have a
Well, think of
Kate, what
So
about
I
you?
have the EDB to USB Wombat, and it's probably out of focus,
Oh,
but there.
that's
Oh,
It
yeah, okay.
allows
Yep.
you to connect an ADB
Sure it
keyboard
does.
or mouse to USB,
Ooh.
or vice versa. You can do a USB keyboard and mouse to ADB. It works both
Ooh,
ways.
nice.
So I've
Most
used
of those
this
didn't work both
actually-
ways.
I've used this to put a Logitech wireless USB dongle on the
There you
USB port, and
Nice.
then I use the curly ADB wire to connect it to my Mac. So I have ran my Macintosh SE with a wireless keyboard and mouse, a modern wireless keyboard and mouse from
So,
Logitech. Just by
Is this a
using
kit that you buy, or is it an actual like product that they sell in
It's
stores?
a product that they sell. It's from Big Mess of Wires, BMOW. They
that
make
figures.
the Raminator and the Floppy.
Yeah.
Canoe.
That figures.
you can also get it as a kit, I think. But yeah,
I think so. Mine, the acrylic case, it comes with just the board, and then you buy the acrylic case separately.
yeah.
Mhm.
Or you buy a 3D printer and print one, right?
Yeah, but acrylic case is pretty nice.
Ah,
Yes.
it's
Shiny.
all shiny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lost.
Who's next?
One of my biggest conversion technologies that I like to use is I can't think of really. It's more than 3 technically, but it's all one conversion technology, and that's Thunderbolt 3 to Thunderbolt 2 to FireWire 800 to FireWire 400.
That works.
Yeah, it works.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It takes 3 days to back up a drive, but it works.
Actually, I think I have it sitting over here. Yeah, here it is. Three.
It's not the 3 to 2
Make
adapter.
him full screen because he can't fit that.
Two,
There you go.
Oh my god.
400.
That's like 2 decades worth of connections right there.
Yeah.
That's
Copying
Ken's like
from the past.
Ken is probably drooling at that right now.
Yeah.
Probably.
Ken's like, can I put that on a shirt?
As far as mine go, I think everything that Jay said, the stuff I use. The one thing that I find invaluable right now that I've been using, especially back right here behind me on this TI-99, is a composite to HDMI converter. Composite, yeah, to HDMI converter. That's very invaluable right there, because using it on some of these, modern monitors is very helpful, so that's one of my favorites, but everything that Jay put out there too is stuff that I think is part of my top 3.
No. Pick your own.
Nope. You already stole them.
Well, I don't see how anybody in this list how anybody here can say that they don't use a DV15 to HD15 video.
I was just looking for one of those.
Yeah,
I don't.
Because that's like the number one thing that I used to use. I don't have anything right now that needs one.
You gave me one. I still use it a lot.
Yeah, I gave you my real Apple one every minute of it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I have to have one in every room in the house.
But also, the other converters I use are my VGA to DVI and my HDMI to DVI adapters. Constantly, I use them all the time. Sometimes together.
I can't find
and my ADC to DVI brick is a good convert. That is a crazy conversion technology right there.
Well, I think a lot of people probably use, if you own a newer MacBook Pro with the USB-C, you probably have all kinds of conversion technology for that.
Yeah.
Yes, that the little SCSI to SD that Kate was showing there. That's the 5.5, temporarily unavailable, by the way. Sorry about that, folks.
Oh, really?
They're absolutely fantastic. Being able to just use a little SD card in the back there, they are absolutely brilliant things.
So does that have Mackie's brain on it?
Aren't cameras frustrating?
Is
Like,
that
I'm
the
going to focus
back?
on your
I have a
hand
copy
instead
of
of.
his program.
Is that the backup for Mackie?
Yes, it's Mackie's backup.
He fits on an SD card.
He fits on floppy disk, actually.
Oh wow!
Using magic compression.
I don't think conversion technology is trademarked, though, Ken. Is it?
Yeah, I don't think there's a TM on there. Come on now, Ken.
It's on a shirt. That's the same thing.
Yeah.
As long as y'all don't make a shirt that says conversion technology.
So I don't have. Do I? Hold on a minute. I think I only have one here.
And we lost Dana.
No, I'm here. Hang on.
He's looking. He's looking.
One of these guys here.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Yes.
They are fantastic.
I use this
I
thing.
guess that is. I
all
guess
the
it
time.
technically is conversion technology.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have a SATA to USB 3 hard drive dock on my desk that always has a hard drive docked in it. So
I have one of those too.
right there.
Oh, I have one of those too. It's an easy dock, and it clones.
Mine's all beige
Yeah.
stuff, but I have floppy emojis.
Oh yeah, I got that too. Those are invaluable.
Yes. One is for my Apple computers, like the Apple II, and the other one's set up for Mac.
That's a very smart way to do it.
Oh,
I
so
was
floppy
tired of
disk.
swapping the firmware on both of them.
It is kind it is kind of annoying the way you have to do that.
Especially when I was filming the logo episode where I was trying to show logo on both systems and I had it virtually, and so I just went ahead and bought another one.
Yeah, those things are especially nice when some guy sells you a computer that doesn't have a floppy drive in it. So I won't mention any names like Steve. You know.
I keep saying that Steve doesn't own anything that's complete. We've found that out already.
Oh gosh! Oh no!
If you walk in, I can bash Steve. So if you walk in Steve's basement, okay, assuming you don't kill yourself in the first 5 steps.
Oh, here comes Steve now.
Or kill a bunny.
That well, the bunnies are on the far side of the basement. They're not in any danger. But the other side of the basement, if you walk through his basement, he's got case lids, hard drives, process. I mean, I could go through and I could find like 3 Sonnet upgrade processor cards.
Wow!
Just laying on a table because he takes everything apart, and never puts it back together.
Yeah, see, that's the luxury of having
crazy.
a basement.
I think I kicked it. I think I kicked the lid to a 6100 once when I was there because it was just laying on the floor.
I'm surprised it didn't break into a million pieces.
Oh well, I didn't care if it did or not. It's a piece of crap computer anyway. Oh Lord. But anyway,
so I'm gonna make a little mention of this guy here. I'm sure people have seen these before. These are drive toasters. You get a SATA drive and you drop them in the top there.
I got one right here.
oh yeah.
Now the one thing that
any.
this particular one has, which I absolutely love, and this is what in my opinion makes a conversion technology. And the back here, 2 FireWire ports.
Wow.
So not only can I connect this
cool.
up via USB, I can connect it up to the old Macs via FireWire as well. So that is a huge plus.
So what?
I gotta find one of those.
It has a lot of ports on the back.
The brand is Nexstar, and I remember when I went to buy it, I was after one of these, and there were a couple there, and this one was a few dollars more expensive, like next to nothing. And I said, "Why is this one more expensive?" He said, "Oh, it's got FireWire in the back as well."
And you're like, "Gimme."
I'm like, "Yeah, that'll do. That'll be the one. I'll grab that one."
So how do you use it? Do you use the FireWire or do you use the USB?
It depends what I'm connecting it to. I certainly use the FireWire when I'm connecting it up to old things. But it's connected to this computer. We're in its permanent spot. It gets moved around a bit, but in its kind of semi-permanent spot, it's connected via FireWire to me.
Okay.
We're visiting the Mac Pro. So
that is a very useful thing to have. I have one too. Mine has a fan on it as well because I use it a lot for data recovery stuff. Mm-hmm. But definitely the FireWire USB 3, it's a great thing to have.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And of course, we should, give a special mention to that stupid adapter on the old Power Mac computers, the old big pizza box Power PC, 6100, that ridiculous display adapter thing. What was that? Does anyone remember what they were called? Mike, you know.
Oh, the HDI 45 adapter.
Oh,
to the DB15
high density interface.
That's the one. That's the one that has to be mentioned.
Yeah. I forgot about that because I absolutely loathe that thing.
Kind of like the precursor to ADC in a way.
It was, It was meant to encapsulate everything. Everything
the
all
one
going
from
through
the
one adapter.
First gen Power Mac?
Yeah. It did everything. It did everything but power the monitor, which is one thing that ADC actually took care of. But then again, the only monitor that was ever made for it, I think, drew like 350 watts because it had a big Sony Trinitron in it.
Mm-hmm. That's not too bad.
It is when you're trying to power it off a video card.
I think that
especially an onboard video card.
Yeah, some of these adapters, they would have been fine if they had decent take up. You know what I mean? If everyone had started using them as a standard, you wouldn't worry about it. But when you look back at a lot of these things now, they just become things that we need bloody adapters for.
That is the adapter on Ken's shirt.
And another one on that along that same lines is the HD 30 to DB25 SCSI adapter for the early PowerBooks.
Yep.
Well, actually, for all the PowerBooks up to about the G3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Again, it's something that you have to have whether you want it or not.
Yep.
Right.
Thankfully, they're cheap. The HDI 45 to DB15s are kind of hard to find. They're out there, but they're getting kind of hard to find nowadays. And you absolutely have to have that to use the computer, unless you have a video card.
Yeah, this is right. Yeah. Have we done all? Has everyone done their bit on the conversion technology? Does anyone have anything else they want to add? Any important mentions?
No. Well, it's not. You're not converting anything really, but for the last 20 years, I have found USB hubs to be a must-have. So you're converting one port to several, I guess, but it doesn't really count.
Yeah, I find those indispensable. In fact, I'm running one right now on this one, run on my gaming PC, and one on my other Mac. So I have them on everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, KVMs.
If not
KVMs
that,
are handy.
KVM, yeah. If not the hub, then the multi-port USB card.
So there's a few people that may not have been here when the stream started. Kate, do you want to show off?
Your
$3,000 item one more time?
Let's pick this guy up again. Here it is.
Oh, I saw the picture of that.
Hey,
Apple.
Did you buy that for Mr. Polka Dots? Come on.
I did not.
Is it soft? It looks like cardboard.
It is really soft.
It
No, it's carpet.
Okay.
It's very soft. And it's fluffy.
That is a
fine
look.
So
what is the back?
I'm gonna get chemicals on me now, but it's actually a really nice pill on the carpet. It's soft. So
What's the
it's
back
gonna go in
look
my
like?
studio down here.
Is it like a piece of carpet that's been cut out, or what does the back look like?
Yep, it's the backing is
Okay, yeah.
Regular
rug
carpet,
backing.
It's like-
What does it say? Made in China.
Made in China.
That's what I was trying to get you to show. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, right. But no, it's a nice. It's kind of bath ruggy, but it doesn't have rubber on the back, so it's just a rug.
That's cool.
All right.
That would be an awesome bath rug.
Right.
Yeah,
I would buy one of those.
I agree. It's a
It would be a very expensive bath rug.
I would totally buy one of those, and my cat would promptly throw up on it. So
Probably. Seeing as we know where it came from, I wonder what happens to the colors when you get it wet. Would it just run all over the floor, and then you end up with a white apple?
So I got it. Everyone's asking where I got it. I got it from Alibaba. So I got it where. So if you saw the video from Computer Clan, Ken's video, he talked about the rug being sold by a guy on YouTube or on eBay.
Yeah.
But I didn't buy it from him, but I bought where he got it sourced from. So there's a custom rug company out there.
Scam, by the way. He mentioned in his video that you can get it way cheaper on Alibaba after he set up the manufacturing himself. Ken is actually the one selling the cheaper rugs. He's making
what's that guy's name? Silverberg or something like that?
Yeah.
So you probably bought it from Ken, and Ken's like, yes, buy more.
Right. He's using Alibaba to hide his copyright infringement.
Admission.
Our video admission. Sorry.
All right. Well, I'm going to move us on to the next one, which I think is our last topic of the night.
There is a next one?
Oh, yeah,
I'll try and keep this moving fairly quickly because we are definitely getting towards the end of showtime. I just wanted to make a quick mention of a project which is currently underway at the moment, and that is an online forum called Tinker Different. And so just to explain a little bit about this, a group of people essentially got together and talked about the idea of making a forum for vintage computer users, not just Mac. I mean, I know Tinker Different definitely is a hats off to the Think Different of Apple, but this is open to tinkerers of all sorts of computers. So whether it be old Amigas, or Silicon Graphics stuff, or Spectrum, or anything, open to all, to all. And Now, this is an online forum, ticketdifferent.com. You can visit it. You can have a look at it. You can't sign up yet. We are officially launching on the, I think it's the 31st of October in whatever time zone you're in. So it will actually, I think, be kicking off 31st of October in my time zone, and then everyone will sort of wake up and it will have started when they wake up on the 31st.
Can I show the preview?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Now, just to give you a bit of an idea of the background, this is it's from a group of people, as I said, got together. The sorts of people we talk about. We've got Mark from Mac Effects, Eric of the Blue Scuzzy fame. We've got James from Hyper Talking. Does the sort of the pixel art. We've got our own Steve from Mac 84. Christian from Macintosh Garden, Kai Robinson, the brain behind the Mac SC and Mac Classic Reloaded projects, Mr. Fahrenheit, which is the fellow who does all of the recapping for Dan of Canadian Computer Collector, James Wages, also known as JDW. There's me. And probably a whole bunch of people that I'm forgetting, but it's basically a large group of people. We all got together and we said, look, this is what we want. This is where we want to hang out. We want to use this forum. And we got together and we built it. We've got some really clever people that have gone in and built all sorts of, backup and restoration strategies. It's all hosted in a very stable environment with, as I say, lots and lots of backups. So, we have put, and it's not something that we just came up with. This is something that has been through weeks and weeks of planning. And you must be logged in to do that. I'm sorry. Yeah. And look, even just with we've got a few beta testers on there at the moment that have been using it, and even just with the people that are on there now, we've got some amazing stuff already appearing in the forum. We've got people, who are sort of doing more reloaded projects. There's a guy who's doing a recreation of the Macintosh LC. We've got people doing VRAM sims, for the old LC computers.
Look at some of these forums here. We've got.
Yep.
Here's all the Apple and Mac stuff. We got vintage Atari, vintage Commodore, vintage Acorn, Sinclair, vintage workstations. Yep. I'm sure Christian would be interested in this. I don't know what SGI stands for.
Silicon Graphics Incorporated.
Oh my God, you fell for it? It's one of our oldest running jokes, and GT just fell for it.
Can I say something, Bruce? Or are you not?
Of course you can.
Yep. The reason I cannot get a new MacBook Pro is because I gave all the money to Bruce so I could become a beta tester for this forum. So far, there are no regrets because I love the traditional forum. I will take a forum over Facebook.
Yes.
Any day of the week. Yeah. The search, the way to find stuff, the way to share stuff,
it's quick.
Way better. Yeah. So it's I've been on there for a week now, not even, and I'm having a blast just browsing, reading other people's experiences. I already made a few really sweet deals, trading stuff. It's going to be really awesome.
I think all of us are testing it right now. That's on the show right now, and I'm gonna tell you something. I found it is very, very snappy. I mean, it is quick.
Yeah, very quick.
It is.
Yes.
Yep. All of everything that's posted onto it is hosted locally. It's not hosted on any external servers. So there's you've got that. You don't have to worry about that if something else goes down. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I'm definitely enjoying being part of it, and enjoying using it. And we hope that this is going to become a really big, repository of information in time. As I say, even as it is now, I've got some great stuff going on there. I mean, I jumped on there just for a bit of fun. I just jumped on and said, "Hey guys, I'm looking for a converter that will convert 50-pin SCSI to the little mini SCSI of the 2.5-inch hard drives inside, like the old SCSI, power books." and within a matter of hours, someone had posted, "Oh yeah, I've created one of those. Here are the Gerber files. Here's all the parts list. I did an order. I got the PCBs made. Made one, works beautifully." And I looked at it, I thought, what a fantastic thing. This is great to see that sort of thing going on. So anyhow, official launch on October 31st. Then people will be able to sign up, people who are other than beta testers. We are going to be doing an official promotional video of it, where we're all going to be talking about what it is and why we made it and all that sort of stuff. But as I say, we've got some really, really good minds behind it, and we all feel like we've done this properly, and hope it'll be somewhere that the people like to hang out.
I think it's going to be pretty good.
Yep, I'm feeling optimistic.
When did you say it goes live? October 31st?
Yes.
October 31st, that's
Halloween.
correct. So in theory,
it's trick or treat.
Whichever time zone you happen to be in, when you wake up on the 31st, it will be active, because we are actually going to launch it at midnight on the 31st, I think New Zealand time, because I think they're the first ones that actually start on the 31st. So if you're up late on the 30th, you'll probably be able to use it as well.
I'm never up late.
Yes, Joe's Computer Museum. Yes, Joe, it is very, very well backed up in sort of multiple places. And not only that, I should actually mention that we have already gone through a complete sort of simulation of a catastrophic failure and restoration to see that would all work, so that if we were in a situation that it did happen, we've all what?
No, we're just amazed.
Your backups? That's quite a concept, man.
I know it's a crazy concept. We actually tested to see that if it did fail, would we be able to resurrect the whole thing? And whoa, holy mackerel, we did. So
if I wasn't wearing this hat, you would see my mind being blown right now.
I don't know why you even bothered, because that's not likely to happen ever.
Yeah, ever. Yeah. So anyhow, I think the main thing about it is that all of the people involved are all about creating a place that is going to be fun for people to jump on, be a part of, just enjoy the experience of being there. So that's, we made it the way we wanted it to be. So yeah,
I like it.
Good.
All right. Well, I think it's time for us to talk about shameless self-promotion. So what's everyone got coming up? Rudy, you got anything coming up? You said you got a video coming after this.
I've got a YouTube premiere at 10 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be doing episode 10 of season 4 of the PowerPC series, where we're going to be showing off a new card bus card you can get for vintage Macs. I'll put the link right here in the talk, and come join me at 10.
Absolutely. And how about you, GT? You got anything in the works?
Nope, nothing that I could think of right off the top of my head. So no shameless self-promotion for me right now.
Okay, well, you have to think of something.
Yeah.
Be sure to have something for next week.
Yeah, I will.
How about you, Kate?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I put out a history of logo programming. I talked about it. This is in the beginning, but
we need to get a link for that, don't we?
Yes. Let me see if I can copy it. But basically, it's a programming language that was the first introduction to computers when I was in first grade, second grade, and it was really important to me in my computer development and learning programming. So it's kind of a love letter to the logo language. So that's out there. And other than that, I'm writing the next episode, and that should be out within the next couple months or so.
Cool. Excellent. I'm still hunting for the link. Give me a second. Nearly got it. There we go. Oh,
Sorry.
No, I'm actually playing the video. Don't want to do that.
So I did make you a moderator on MacAC here, so you can actually post a link now if you want it to.
There we go. Here it comes.
Hey.
Kate.
Oh, okay.
It's there. It's done. It's out there.
Awesome.
Dana, are you going to do any stuff?
Nope. Next.
Jay, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna work on Macintosh 2 and 2X boards again.
No, really?
Let me guess. You're going to scrape.
A lot of scraping.
So, how long until we're likely to see these things up on eBay? Because I know there are a lot of people out there that will pay top dollar to buy not just a Mac 2, but a Mac 2 that has been scraped by the House of Moth.
Oh, okay. Second week of November, the first one will go up for sale.
Ooh.
Nice.
Starting at $1,500. It involved a lot of scraping.
Steve just fainted in the middle of Disney World.
Yeah, Steve's like, but I thought you were giving that to me.
Until I finish these projects, I really don't have space to do anything else. So I want to finish these, get them all done, and out the door.
Excellent. Wonderful. And Mike, are you doing anything?
Yes, at 12 o'clock Saturday, I am going to be watching a live stream of a guy unboxing a brand new IBM PS2. And then shortly thereafter, I am going to be streaming myself this weekend. So cool. I am not going to say what I'm streaming, but it will be something that has been requested by my community, since I can now do community posts, which I didn't even know.
So Mike, on time this time? Because I seem to
fight me.
Is it PC or Mac related?
It's going to be PC related.
All right, I'm on.
Yeah, sorry, but it is going to be.
If the community requests it, that's what you do.
It's going to be PC related.
Yeah, it's weird that the community of Mike's Mac Shack requests so much PC stuff.
Mm-hmm. Got to answer your fans.
PC stuff.
Fine.
Hey, I got to do what my adoring fans want.
That's right. We want PCs and cats, please.
Well, there's plenty of both here.
Wait.
What about you, Bruce?
You ruined it.
I'll do something. I haven't decided what day or what, but I will definitely do something this weekend. So,
that is as vague as can possibly be.
That's the best I can do at the moment, I'm afraid.
I'm going to do something.
It may or may not involve recapping, for a change.
That's new.
I honestly don't have anything here of particular interest. I've just got run of the mill. I've got like classics, classic 2s, LCs, that sort of thing. Other side. There you go. Okay, well, I think that's it for the self-promotion. So we have a Discord.
Yes, somebody was asking about that earlier.
We do?
So, yeah.
It's been a while, but yeah, somebody was asking if we had a Discord, and here it is.
We have a Discord, and we do frequent it from time to time. I have to admit, I'm on it a lot these days.
What's Discord?
Yeah. It's a thing. I don't know what it is. What is it?
It's a
thing
on them internets.
Yeah, it's like a mini.
I'm on there so often that I forget that I even have one.
It's a mini internet on the internet.
But nobody uses it.
I'm on there every day, all the time. So.
Yeah. Well,
it's actually grown a lot bigger than I think we imagined it was going to grow from the start.
I kind of lurk because I'm not able to keep up with all the conversations, so I'll lurk every once in a while.
It's usually a nice, tranquil place to exchange thoughts and stuff until there's a keynote and Kate shows up. It's a whole different story.
What was that one comment? Like 2 chips something?
Yeah, something about 2 chips.
I didn't make any comments.
Yeah.
Jay, you need to.
She's going back in the Discord to delete it.
The legal team did not give me permission to show it, so it was fiery. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
So if you haven't joined the Discord, join the Discord.
Yes, Everyone. Discord is where it's at.
Yep,
absolutely.
But also, Bruce, before
we go, I better
smash that like button.
We timed that beautifully.
Yeah.
All right, we're done. Go away.
Alrighty. I think we're going to wrap it up now. So we have to see you all next week. Thanks for joining us. It was
Hanging out,
wonderful.
Kate.
All right.
Yes,
go
and thank you very much, Kate, for joining us as well.
Yeah.
And Kate, yes, anytime. And she was on our 99th and now our 141st episode. So that means what? 180th? We got to get her back on.
Something like that.
Somewhere around there.
Hopefully
Yeah.
sooner, maybe.
All right.
Look at that. Bye,
See ya.
all. Someone
Bye.
press the button.